now tuned in to the Raven and Wolves radio show.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ, bless. We're back at you all another week with the Raven and Wolves radio show. All right, bringing you all the truth out of the scriptures. Okay, bringing you all the history on the tribes. This week, we're gonna be going over the mighty men of Levi. You understand? Because right now the holiday we are in is Hanukkah. You know, we're in the Feast of Dedication. You know, and when you go into the history of the Feast of Dedication, you know the scripture says that the Most High gave us some help, and that help was Matthias and his son Judah Maccabees, and these brothers, which was from the tribe of Levi, which was priests. You know, so this show we're gonna touch on the history of Haiti, all right, and we're gonna touch on the tribe of Levi. You know, so you brothers and sisters that might know certain things about the tribe of Levi, you might more be able to understand the tribe of Levi and able to explain it if somebody asks you a question. You know, so we got today we got Captain Isaac with us on the show. You know what I mean?
Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Sak Pasay.
Sapase.
All my Levites. Sak Pasay.
Yep, he from the tribe of Levi, even though he don't look so. But he from the tribe of Levi. You know what I mean? So, you know, he gonna go into some of the history on the tribe of Levi and some of the things that took place on the island of Hispaniola, right?
Yes, sir.
Hispaniola. You understand? Which is where the Levi is today, the land that they are inhabiting, you know, which is Haiti. All right, so let's go into the topic. First, I'm gonna start with Genesis 49. You know, showing who the tribe of Levi is today. For those of you all that might not know the breakdown. All right, Genesis 49.
Book of.
All right, you can start at Genesis 49 and start at verse 5.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren.
So it says Simeon and Levi are brethren, right? You know, first start at verse 1.
Verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So Jacob called his sons together and he said, this is what is going to befall you in the last days. Meaning in the last day, this is what we use to identify which tribe is which tribe. You understand? Last week we touched on the tribe of Gad. We identify who Gad was. The week before that we touched on the tribe of Benjamin, identifying who Benjamin is. Now we're dealing with the tribe of Levi. All right, so now in the last days, what does it say? What does the scripture says about the tribe of Levi? Jump to verse 5.
Verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren.
So concerning the tribe of Levi, it says Simeon and Levi are brethren. But when you look at the history, all the tribes and them, we all brothers, right? You know, Judah and Simeon is brothers. Judah and Levi is brothers. You know, Benjamin and Levi is brothers. But why does it put an emphasis on Simeon and Levi? Why does it do that? Because the reason what letting you know is that Simeon and Levi, they're going to be together in the last days. That's what it's letting you know. You understand? And when you look throughout the New World, the only island where you see Simeon and where you got the indigenous people and the black slaves living, you understand? Mainly that's the island of Hispaniola. You understand? Read on.
Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
And that instrument of cruelty is going into, in the last days, is going into the voodoo that they used to deal, that they dealing with. You understand? They're going into the voodoo, the Santa, what do you call it? Santeria, the brujeria. You understand? The obia. You know, them is the things and them that's the instrument of cruelty that is talking about. You know, but when you go into the history, it's also talking about how that tribe of Levi is, you know, how Levi and Simeon is, how they dealt with those Hamites that defiled his sister Dana. Because when you go into the history, it told you that the cruelty stemmed from way back then. You know, it told you when these Hamites, when they violate violate their sister Dana, it told you that Simeon and Levi, they went up in there and killed everything. They slaughtered the whole city. They killed everything. Everything dead. You know, that show you the characteristic of Levi and Simeon. You know, their wrath is unquenchable. You know, you get them angry, you get them mad, they gonna go in. You understand? That's another characteristic about the tribe of Levi and Simeon.
Yeah, man.
Okay, but read on.
O my soul, come not thou into their secret.
So he said, "Oh my soul, come not down to their secret." When he said, "Oh my soul," he's talking about the other tribes. Don't come unto their secret. The secret is the voodoo, the obia, and all of that they do. You understand? Because throughout the Caribbean islands, a lot of the tribes and them have learned Levi's secret. You understand? Because me personally, my grandmother, she from Trinidad, she used to be involved in that voodoo stuff, and she used to go to Haiti and learn that voodoo and bring it back to Trinidad. You know, you got the Shango Baptist and them. That they, my aunts and them, they in that Shango Baptist craziness. They go over there and they learn all of them customs, all the secret, all that voodoo stuff, and they bring it back, and they teach it amongst the other tribes. You know, so what Jacob is saying here, he said, "Oh my soul, come not unto the secret," he let in the other tribes, and them know, don't deal with that voodoo, with that secret that Levi is dealing with. You know what I mean? But read on.
Unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united.
So the Most High said, don't be united. Simeon and Levi, they would not be united. That's why when you look today, you see Simeon got a test where they give anybody that's over there in what's that? What's the capital of Santo Domingo? Yeah, in Dominica, in the Dominican Republic. And if you dark skin, they give you a test where they say you got to say a word, and if that word, if you say it a certain way, like you from Haiti, they gonna kill you. You understand? I saw certain monstrosities going on over there where the Dominican, which is this tribe of Simeon, they chopping Levi up, cutting off their hair, chopping off their hands, their foot, you know. And that thing hurt in my heart because we all brothers, you understand? But they got so much hatred towards Levi because I know when you go into the history, Levi had them as slaves one point. You know what I mean? And they blame Levi for a lot of the economic collapse in the country, right?
Yeah, but truthfully speaking, Levi was trying to rid the whites, because the Spaniards had came over there on the island of Saint Domingue, and they tried to take over the island. So those who were fighting against the French had teamed up with the French to gain back the colony from Saint Domingue. So they wanted to go over there and free the Simeonites from under the Spanish. But the Simeonites, their head was so far up the white man's ass that until this very day, that's why they hate Levi. Right?
Okay. So there is a hatred, there is a division among Simeon and Levi. You understand? The Most High put that division amongst them. He says, "Be not thou united." So these two tribes, they would not be united. The only thing that will unite Simeon and Levi is Christ. You understand?
Right.
Is learning that you are Israelite in the spirit of Christ. You know, that's the only thing, because I got a lot of Simeon brethren. I know you got a lot of Simeon brethren in the faith. You understand? So that's what uniting us. Uniting us is when brothers come together in the faith of Christ, knowing that we Israel. You know, that's the only thing that going to unite Simeon and Levi. You know, but on the island right now, they are not united. They are divided and they hate each other. You understand? Keep on reading. That's it.
For in their anger they slew a man.
For when they get angry, they gonna kill you. You understand? That's how Simeon and Levi is. They get angry, they will kill you. I see some videos with the things that Simeon doing and Levi, the things that they doing. You all be seeing what's be going on in Little Haiti in Miami. You understand? In their anger, they will kill you. Read on.
And in their self-will they dig down a wall.
The self-will is, you know, they after Jacob done make an agreement, they gonna go and do what they gonna, you know.
Yeah.
That's being self, like, you know, you have a kid that's self-will. your father tell you, listen, we
Don't
gonna
do
make
that.
a covenant with them and this and so forth. This is what we gonna do. And you went behind your father back and kill everybody, man. You know, Jacob was scared as hell. Jacob said, "Yo, all the nations all the people gonna come together and try to wipe me out because of what you all did." You know, but you know, it's the Lord put that spirit on them, though. You know what I mean? The Lord put that spirit on them to do what they did. The Most High put that spirit on Simeon and Levi. So the Most High said, the Jacob said, I'm not going to let you all be united in the tribes. You understand? I'm going to divide you two. I think they was real close.
Yeah,
they were real close.
They were real
you know,
close,
when they
real
come,
close.
when Simeon and Levi come together, they going to come up with some evil, crazy stuff. You know, you can't mess with them. You know, so that's why the spirit of the Most High had to say, listen, I'm going to divide you two brothers because when you all together, you all going to cause too much problems. You know what I mean? And the Most High put that spirit on them ever since.
Yeah,
you know?
I could bring out a point, Deacon.
Yeah.
So what the Deacon is bringing out is heavy, especially to you so-called Haitians that are listening right now who are not fully persuaded. The Deacon just brought out the history with our sister Dinah.
Yeah.
When the dirty Hamites defiled our sisters. So the agreement was that, look, if you circumcise your men, we'll let you marry our sister.
Yeah.
So they waited till the brothers was circumcised
On the
and
third
when
day.
it was sore
On the third
and so
day.
forth, came up and slaughtered them. But guess what? The same thing happened in the history on the island of Hispaniola. That's how we know that the so-called Haitians is the tribe of Levi today. All right, I'm gonna read it real quick because history repeats itself.
Right.
That's why our forefather Jacob said, this is what's gonna happen to you in the last days. All right, that's how we know for sure who the tribes are today, and we know for sure the 12 tribes chart is completely 100% accurate. All right, this is a book called Black Indians by William Lauren Katz. All right, this is chapter 3 on page 33. It said in 1522, Europeans in the Americas first learned that slavery did not easily lead to enormous wealth. On Christmas Day, African and Indian slaves, Levi and Simeon, on a plantation owned by Diego Columbus, the devil that the Bible speaks about, that was Christopher Columbus' son, rose and murdered their masters and overseers. Nearby Native Americans joined the rebels. The beautiful island of Hispaniola shook with the first recorded slave rebellion in the New World. The conspiracy had spread across the sprawling sugar plantation in the weeks before Christmas. Patiently, the plotters, Simeon and Levi, waited until Christmas Day when the planters and their families would be bloated with food, soaked with liquor, and too weak or sleepy to offer much resistance.
Yo, so they had the itis.
Exactly, they had the itis. All right, and this is the same thing that we did during the time of when our sister Dinah got defiled.
Yeah.
It says they struck, plunging into the night to kill whites and find freedom. All right, so the Bible's a real book. History repeats itself.
So you all see what happened when Simeon and Levi come together. When Simeon and Levi come together, they gonna scheme on you. They gonna deal with you if you being evil to them. You understand? In their anger, they killed. The same thing that happened in the scripture. The same thing they did there in the past. They came together and they killed. And they wait for the master to eat and get full and fat and merry. And you know he can't move and he's sleeping and he's tired and he's drunk. And they came and they killed everybody. You understand? They came and they killed everything. You know, so that's the spirit that Levi and Simeon they rolling in. You know, so that's a good history right there. You know, and for you brothers and sisters that still inconclusive thinking that the tribe of Levi is not the Haitians, you know, you brothers, y'all just keep listening. We're gonna touch on some more stuff, you understand? You know? So from
There's more on that. You want to finish?
yeah, finish it.
Verse 7. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
So that's why Levi was divided in Jacob. Levi, when you go into the history, Levi was divided amongst all the 12 tribes. You understand? The Most High divided Levi and Jacob because if Levi had his own land and Levi was together, you understand? Even with Simeon, they would have been They wrath is cruel. You understand? That's what the scriptures say. You know, that's what the scriptures say. And when we read, that's what the scriptures say. So we're gonna jump now to Maccabees, first Maccabees, the second chapter. You know, as I said, now it's Hanukkah, so we're gonna touch on is the mighty men of Levi. You know, I'm gonna touch on Judah Maccabees, then we're gonna jump into the history in Haiti. Okay? You know, because right now we in the feast of dedication celebration. You understand? You know, and because when you read the history, you know, the Most High used some brothers. You know, he used some brothers to deliver us from our enemies in the past. You know, and these men was from the tribe of Levi. You know, when you go into the history on the tribe of Levi always had a zeal for their people. You understand? They always had a love and a zeal for their people. When you go into the tribe of Levi, I tell you, oh look, Moses how he was the meekest man. He tell you how he loved his people. You know, when you go into Phineas, you know, he tell you that zeal Phineas had when he saw that brother in the midst of sin and he killed that brother. You understand? And that was counted as righteousness. You know, and he ended up saving Israel from being put to death. You know, so the tribe of Levi, their symbol is the scale in a balance. Yeah. You understand? That's the tribe of Levi symbol, a scale in the balance. You understand why? Because the tribe of Levi, they are the ones that used to execute judgments among the people. You know, they are the ones that used to judge the people. They are the one would put you to death if you commit some sin. You know, they is the ones going to cut your head off. You know, if you get caught in some sin, they are the one that won't stone you to death. You know, they are the one that going to judge you and put you to death. You know, because the Levites, they were the judges of the nation of Israel. You understand? They were our judges, and the Most High gave them that seat to be judges. You understand? So when you go into the history of Levi, you know, they are very powerful tribe. They are very powerful people. You understand? All 12 tribes is great and powerful. You understand? And all of them got their different attributes. Right. You know, and when you touch on the different attributes, you're like, damn. You know what I mean? It's so marvelous to see how the Most High, the different spirit he put on each tribe. And when we all come together, the kind of things we could do. You know, the Most High even have to say, listen, I'm going to separate these two. They can't be together. They cruel when they come together. Right. You understand me? They rot these two fierce. I can't have these two brothers together. You know? Right. Yeah, but jump to First Maccabees, the second chapter. I'm touching another Levi brother. You know that the Most High used this brother and his sons to fight off the Greeks, you know, and help us get back our land and rededicate the temple to the Most High, which is the holiday we're selling right now, the Feast of Dedication. First Maccabees start at verse 2. I'm gonna just touch on like couple verses, and then we're gonna jump into the island of Hispaniola.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 2. And he had 5 sons, Johanan.
Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joarib.
A what?
A priest of the sons of Joarib.
So Matthias, he was a priest. You understand? And we all know that the priest was from the tribe of Levi. You know? Read on.
From Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called Cadiz, Simon, called Thassi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Abiran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphas.
So that's his 5 sons. All right. So this brother, he was a priest, and he had 5 sons. You understand? And when you read the history on this brother and his sons and his brethren, all of them feared the Lord and kept the Lord commandments, and all of them stand for righteousness. You know. So from there, I just want you to jump to verse 3. You know, I'm gonna just jump to verse 3. We ain't gonna go in too much of the history. But you brothers and chapter 3. You brothers and sisters, you're supposed to be reading the whole book of the Maccabees. You understand? Because it's all about the holiday that we celebrate right now, which is Feast feast of dedication. You know what I mean? It shows you how the Most High rose up these men and how the spirit of the Most High was on these men. It wasn't on nobody else. It was on these men. You know what I mean? If you wasn't Matthias or one of his of his sons, you understand, the spirit of the Most High was not on you to deliver Israel at that time. You know, the Most High spirit was on these men right here, and the Most High used these men to fight our enemy, to destroy our enemy, to help us rededicate the temple. The Most High used these men for that. You understand? And he told you these men was no joke. Right. You understand? These men was no joke. So I want you all to understand the history of the tribe of Levi. I want you all to understand the history of the priest. The priest wasn't just walking around with incense and blowing smoke and stuff like that. You understand me? The priest wasn't just there cutting, making sacrifice and stuff like that.
Warrior.
The priests was warriors, man.
That's right.
You understand? The Levites was warriors. You know, brothers don't understand that, Captain. They think the priest and them was just doing sacrifices and stuff like that. The priest was bad. You know, the priest and them, they gonna put you to death. You on some wicked stuff. He told you, Samuel, when he came in and he saw that Edomite, he told you what he did? He pulled his sword. So he had his sword on him. You understand? He pulled his sword and chopped that Edomite up. He like, Saul, what the hell you did? You understand? You know, the Most High say kill everything and you leave this through the light. Yeah, and Saul pull out his sword and chop up that Edomite right there.
To pieces.
To pieces. You understand? That's a Levite.
Don't play with the Levites.
That's right, that's some cruel stuff though, you know.
But Deacon, we have to.
But that's righteousness though.
Yeah, we have to repaint the image because this Catholic thing destroy the mind of the people. When they hear about priests, they think of someone. Some holy crazy crip, you know what I mean?
Like somebody walking around with incense.
Yeah, nah.
Listen, they gonna do their office, but when time for war, Levi gonna go to war. Levi is not a tribe to play with. That's right. You understand? When they ready, the spirit of the Most High, and I'm gonna read that later on. The spirit of the Most High does work with Levi. The Most High does fight with them. Anybody come against them, the Most High gonna destroy them.
That's right.
You understand? For from there, I wait to read verse 3.
Chapter 3.
Yeah.
Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead.
So Judas was another bad mama jamma, yo. You know what I mean? That's what Judas is, mama jamma. He was a bad mama jamma. You know, nobody could have messed with Judas. He was a straight warrior.
That's right.
Read on.
And all his brethren helped him. And so did all they that held with his father. And they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel.
So Judah Maccabees, he became the leader after Matthias died. You understand? And it says that he fought all the battle of Israel. Read on.
So he gat his people great honor.
And he brought great honor to his people, Judah Maccabees. Read on.
And put on a breastplate as a giant. And girt his warlike harness about him. And he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. In his axe, he was like a lion.
In his what?
In his axe, he was like a lion.
He was fighting with an axe. Man, I think that's what I'm going to use in the kingdom, man.
Battle
axe,
axe.
yo. A battle axe. He said he was using an axe when he was fighting. Read on.
And like a lion's whelp, roaring for his prey.
Read on.
For he pursued the wicked and sought them out.
So Judah Maccabees, he gonna pursue the wicked. If you was wicked amongst Israel, he will find you and kill you, man. You understand? You want to follow the Greeks? You want to follow the Greek customs? Yo, Judah Maccabees, he will find you and kill you. You a traitor to your people. You are Uncle Tom. Judah Maccabees would have find you and kill you, man.
That's
right. You know what I mean? For real. You don't play with the tribe of Levi. He would have find you and kill you.
That's right.
You understand? Read on.
And burnt up those that vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him.
It says what?
The wicked shrunk for fear of him.
The wicked, they were scared.
Yo.
The wicked, they were scared of Judah Maccabees.
Of him.
You understand me? They
One
was
man.
they were scared of this brother. You understand what I'm saying? And when you read Daniel and when you read the scripture, as I said, the Most High Spirit was on this brother and his brothers and his father. You understand? The Most High Spirit was on them, and they tell you, when you read when you read Daniel, that's that little help that the Most High gave them.
That's right.
You know. So from there, Captain Isaac.
Yes, sir.
We gonna jump ahead in history now. You understand? So
Absolutely.
we gonna jump ahead to the island of Hispaniola, which is Haiti. You know, and we gonna touch on certain things of how the tribe of Levi, how that same spirit that they had, where they fought the Greeks and pushed them out of their land and fought for their freedom and rededicate the temple to the Most High, is the same thing they did on the island of Hispaniola.
Yeah.
You understand? The same thing. You know? So we gonna touch on that a little. We gonna jump ahead now. All right?
All right, all praises to the Most High for allowing the Deacon to bring out this history on such a beautiful feast day, also known as Hanukkah, and the Feast of Dedication. I wanted to address a comment that was said by an Edomite by the name of Pat Robertson. Robertson or Robinson. Neither here nor there. Still a Edomite that's going into captivity once Christ comes back. There was a comment that this Edomite had said after the earthquake. I don't remember. I don't know if some of y'all might not remember. Some of you might. There was a devastating earthquake that the Most High sent on the tribe of Levi over there in Haiti, and it killed a lot of people. So this Edomite, who's a pastor, got on TV and said the reason the Haitians were suffering is because they made a pact with the devil. What he was making reference to was an event called Bois Camun. I might be pronouncing that wrong. However, it was spearheaded by a brother named Bookman Dutty, or Dutty Bookman. All right. This brother was a slave originally from Jamaica, and he was teaching the slaves in Jamaica how to read. Therefore, he was sold to the plantation owners in Haiti. All right. He was also known as a ongo, which means priest. They call him the man of the book. Many historians like to say he was Islam, but we know no. We know that he was definitely an Israelite, because whenever we hear somebody say the man of the book, we know that that's making reference to the Bible.
Yeah.
However, many of the slaves that were scattered in west coast of Africa, mainly Guinea, Senegal, and Benin, because that's where most of the slaves from Haiti came from, or a lot of them had disguised themselves or fallen into the way of Islam.
Oh,
okay. Now, this devil said how they made a pact with the devil by sacrificing swine's flesh and drinking blood, which they did. However, the scripture is contrary. The scripture says otherwise. Why was Haiti able to stand up and revolt all the time against the slave master? Because God was with them.
Oh, praise.
All right? According to Moses, give me that in Deuteronomy 33rd chapter.
33.
Give me Deuteronomy 33. So it wasn't the pact with the devil.
Right. That's what I made reference to earlier on when I said that the Most High God is helping Levi, and anybody that come against Levi, the Most High going to destroy them.
That's right.
You understand? That's what I was referring to. That's the scripture right there.
Let's start at verse 8 on down. Deuteronomy 33, the 8th verse.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 8. And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One.
Those were two devices that the tribe of Levi had, mainly the high priests, Aaron, Eleazar, and his sons, where they were able to tell the future and see certain things that the Most High wanted them to see. Okay, read on.
Whom thou didst prove at Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his fathers and to his mother, I have not seen him.
Just like the deacon brought out before, when Levi is in their right mind, not in the mind state that they're in now with voodoo and so forth and Catholicism, when they're in their right mind of keeping the Most High's laws, there's going to be no partiality. In this time, they didn't spare their father nor their mother. Read.
Neither did he acknowledge his brethren.
Neither did he acknowledge his brethren. He didn't care if you was from the tribe of Judah, tribe of Benjamin. If you was in sin and you was breaking the commandments, you were put to death. Come on.
That's right.
Nor knew his own children.
And he didn't spare his own children. See what the Lord's going into? That's for a lot of you sisters who's listening right now, and you brothers. who you know your child is in wickedness and you let it slide.
Right. Can I say something? When you read the law, right, the judgment, it was different if you was from the tribe of Levi, if you was from the tribe of a priest, and you are and you commit and you from being a hoe in your father's house. All right. If you was a hoe in your if you was a hoe and you was from the tribe of Levi, according to the law, you was burned with fire.
Yeah, man.
You understand? That was the judgment. If you was a daughter of the tribe of Levi and you playing a harlot, the scripture said burn you with fire and that you die. You understand? But for the other tribe, they said just stone them to death, right? He said bring her to the but to Levi different. She had to be burned with fire. That's to show you how serious it was, even when how the Levi and them took it. You understand how the Most High dealt with Levi was very serious. You understand the reason why? Is because if you are guess more times who she gonna marry? She gonna marry a priest.
Yeah.
You understand? So the Most High had to be very strict with the woman of Levi. You understand?
Read.
For they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant.
When Levi is in their right mind, that's exactly what they're going to do. Observe the word of the Most High and keep his covenant. Read.
They shall teach Jacob thy judgments.
And they have not done so. That's why the Most High made them base amongst all the nations.
Damn.
All the tribes. Come on.
And Israel thy law.
Come on.
They shall put incense before thee, and whole burnt sacrifice upon thine altar. Bless, Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands.
Read.
Smite through the loins of
Smite through the loins. Smite through the French, Mr. Pat Robinson. All right. Smite through the Spanish. Smite through the English. Smite through all the Caucasians. Read.
smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again.
And has that happened in history? Absolutely. So the Bible's a true book. It wasn't a pact with the devil. It was because Levi was most precious amongst the eyes of God. Okay? The so-called Haitians today, you are the Israelites according to the Bible.
That's right.
All right?
Hey, Cat, you know, it's not just the Edomites pushing that either, because even you got some Benjamin, even I got some people in my family say the same thing, that Levi or the so-called Haitians are cursed because they made a pact with the devil, and that's why they're going through what they're going through, is because they made a pact with the devil. You got a lot of Israel, people of Israel that believe that. You got Judah, you got Benjamin, they believe that as well.
All of that come from the white man.
Absolutely. We know the white man's the devil. All right. Well, that history happened under our brother Bookman, right? But a lot of people, when you talk about the revolution in Haiti and so forth, a lot of people like to start with Toussaint Louverture.
Yeah.
All right. He's a very famous revolutionary man that we learned here in America and across the islands and so forth. Why? Because he established a diplomatic policy with the French. Even though many of his soldiers, they did put people to death, he always wanted to do things diplomatic.
Yeah.
All right. He was good with treaties. He was good with different codes and laws. Why? Because he fought under the French army.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he fought against the Spanish. He fought against the British, and he also fought against the French. But when it comes to the revolution, because we know one person can spark a revolution. It only takes one mind or one action from one particular person to influence many others.
Yes.
So we would have to go all the way back to 1676. All right, you had a brother, a Levite brother by the name of Padre Jean. He attempted to overthrow the so-called white man in Haiti as well. And because of his actions, he was put to death. However, he was able to take some slaves and go to the neighboring island of Haiti. It's called Tortuga Island. That's Tortuga. Later, he was killed by runaway slaves. All right. The very first runaway slaves, Maroons, were inhabited in Jamaica and across the West Indian Islands. But that term was first coined in Jamaica. Maroons, wild dogs, wild runaway slave dogs. All right. Now, after that, the Caucasians tried to label every runaway slave a Maroon, but the original was the tribe of Benjamin in Jamaica. Now, follow up after Mr. Padre Jean. Remember, he left that example, because when things like that happened, it spread throughout the island. People would talk. Slave masters would talk. Therefore, their house Negroes would listen in. Their field Negroes would know what happened. What they were afraid of was what? Inspiration. That's why people today, they hate the Israelites, because they see how we're raising up and how we're inspiring the minds of the people. Because we're causing what? A spiritual revolution.
Right.
You know, we're telling people, come out of here, come out of her, my people, come out of the way of America, America's politics, America's religions, and so forth. Right. One action of one man can inspire people. Then next thing you know, a whole economy is going to crash. Why? Because now you got a group of people not celebrating Christmas. They keeping the Feast of Dedication, which we're in right now. So the French British, they understood that. The French white man, I should say. After Padre Jean, you had a man called Francois Mackendal. All right, he was born in 1758. He was also an onguent, or another word means priest. All right, he had knowledge of herbs, holistic medicine, how to cure people, and he also had knowledge of herbs on the left-hand side, how to poison people. What he was doing, he was getting the slaves, the Maroons, to put the poisons into the water supplies of the French to have them drink it and die in their sleep, or just become sick and sickly to a point where they wouldn't be able to fight back. All right. He had a very a mystical enigma aura around him, and therefore when the French caught him, they put him to death the most cruel way. They burnt him at the stake. All right, in front of everybody. Why? Because they wanted to make an example out of this man. Yeah, man. Then after that, who did he inspire? Notice I'm going in order. Everything is a domino effect. Yeah. All right, just like the bishop says, God forbid if something happens to our bishops, we got the deacons. Yes, something happens to deacons, we got the captains. Yep. After the captains, we got the officers, the soldiers, and in the 144. That's why they can't stop this. That's right. You so-called white people who's listening to this radio show now, because we know many of you are probably on now. Is this on Periscope? Yeah. It's on Periscope. We know you listening. You are the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's right. And when Christ comes back, he's going to put you, he's going to put your ancestors, he's going to put your sons and your daughters into captivity. Ain't not one of you escaping. Okay, right. The same way you couldn't escape the hands of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, we're gonna do worse.
That's right.
Okay, now after Francois Mackendal, we had the brother Bookman that I had mentioned. He was also a leader. All right, he was also a voodoo priest. He had a young sister by his side. Her name was Cecile Fatima. All right, and she was in charge of riling up the spirits of the men and women. Let me repeat that again. Men and women. They were together in this revolution. All right. The leader of she was his like sidekick. Damn, okay. Historians have it that she was a mulatto and her father was a white man. That I can't really prove if it's not true or not. However, her forefathers did fulfill the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28. So more than likely she is an Israelite. Okay. But the reason I brought that up is that what is wrong with so-called black people today, especially in the household between men and women? Right. Back then, our forefathers, they knew they was in captivity. That's right. All right. The men fought hard with the woman. The woman was by the black man's side. Now, what do you see today? You see separation in the household. You see division in the household. The woman trying to lead the men. No, there was proper order. Everything has to return back to its divine order. That's right. And this is what our foremothers and forefathers knew. That's why they was able to do the things that they did. Okay, that's why they were able to rise up and overthrow the so-called white man. Okay, but this was the event that the devil, Pat Robinson, or Robertson, however they pronounce his name, this is the event that he was talking about where they said they made the pact with the devil because they sacrificed the black pig. He drained the blood out in the cups. The sister came through, took the cups, and she made everybody drink it. And that inspired them to what? Think that they were immortal, powerful, or invisible. That gave them the spirit to go out and did what they did. And this is a result of that thinking, they were able to destroy 1,800 plantations. 1,800 plantations. What you got to remember is that sugar, coffee, and cotton was a humongous commodity in the island of Hispaniola, mainly sugar, but they were able to hit the white man in his pockets.
Right.
1,800 plantations destroyed, 1,000 slaveholders killed, men, woman, and child. Okay, they did not spare. And after that, we have the Toussaint Louverture, who was a let's take it to the 1790s and so forth. We have Toussaint Louverture, who was a general at the time. He was able to rise up in the ranks of the French army. When you go into the history, France actually abolished slavery in Haiti in 1794 or 1795. This was done for political reasons. Okay, they actually had turmoil in their own country of France, where their own king was beheaded. They had a revolution going over there. They had between two parties. You had parties that wanted to abolish slavery, and you had parties that wanted to keep slavery. Okay, now once they abolished slavery in France, remember the Spanish was trying to come in and take over the land. The French weren't there. They had their planters there, but as far as the military and so forth, they didn't have that there. So Toussaint Louverture, he actually owned a few sugar plantations. He actually owned that. He was what we would call like a taskmaster today, but without the whip. There's no history that said he would beat his own people and so forth. He had sympathy for his black brothers and sisters. All right, unlike the so-called Negroes now, when we shoot each other over Puma shoes and Jordans and so forth. Okay, this brother went out of his wits to try to help his people. He actually realized, like, damn, my people are in slavery. No matter how much wealth I got, or no matter how high in the ranks that I am, my people are still in captivity. So he chose to flee into the wilderness with his people. All right, to fight back. He made alliances with the Spanish when it came to fighting the French. He made alliances with the French when it came to fighting the British. Like I said, he always tried to take a diplomatic approach to trying to do things.
So you know something, Cap? What he did right there is a similar thing like what Moses did. Remember, Moses was a high man in Egypt, man, that guy of power, and he decided to go down and do things for his people, leave all that. He had that opportunity where he actually have a plantation, he have slave working, he doing exporting, he doing trading, and he chose to fight with his people. He realized that no matter what position I'm in, my people is still being afflicted.
Exactly. And what he realized is that, remember, through all of this turmoil and tumult that was going on, the so-called Haitians, the Levi's, tribe of Levi, they were burning the sugar fields. So that's a resource that they could have used to benefit themselves. But they didn't have that understanding. To them, it was just fury, just burn and kill everything. But Toussaint Louverture, he's like, nah, we can't do that, because this is our source of money. So at the same time, he was conspiring what to do against the opposing army, the Edomites. At the same time, that was the rise of Napoleon. Okay, Napoleon was just fighting a war in Egypt against other Edomites, the British. He won that war. All right. Then he returned back to France when France was having their own revolution. He took over Parliament and he declared himself king. He said, there will be no more, quote unquote, there will be no more revolution. I am revolution. And he was very disturbed at the news that he was finding out going on in Haiti, how they were free and they were going to become a free black republic. So what he did was reach out to Thomas Jefferson. There's a quote. Let me pull it up, because a lot of you so-called blacks, what you got to realize about the white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, is that all of them are on accord. We're the only ones that's not on one accord.
That's right.
Okay, so this is what he said. This is what Thomas Jefferson said. Actually, this is Napoleon Bonaparte. I'm sorry, not Thomas Jefferson. The prospect of a black republic is equally disturbing to the Spanish. This is the same people that the French were fighting. They were fighting each other over what? Commerce, land, and so forth. But they understood, they were all on one accord, that these niggas, these Negroes, cannot be free. Okay? He said the prospect of a black republic is equally disturbing to the Spanish, the English, and the Americans. They're the same, different heads of the same red beast. Okay, that's what our people got to understand. Jefferson, this is Thomas Jefferson,
Yeah.
the president that he wrote letters to.
Yes.
Jefferson has promised that on the instant the French army has arrived in Haiti, all measures will be taken to starve Toussaint and rid us of these gilded Negroes, and we will have nothing more to wish for. He also, in many other books, he was also quoted as saying that don't think his the reason that he wants to dominate Haiti and enslave the Haiti and stop Haiti from becoming a free black republic was because of commerce. It was because he wanted to stop the march of the black republic into the world. Because he knew what? He knew that these brothers would inspire what? Other nations to do the same thing.
Right.
And did that happen, Deacon? Of course.
Yes, it did.
Because many of the slave revolts in America was because of what the Haitians did.
Yeah.
Right.
Nat Turner,
Yeah.
Denmark Vesey.
Right.
You can do the research, brothers and sisters. Many of the slave revolts in America was what transpired over there on the island of Hispaniola. They said, you know what? These brothers did it, so we can do it. The same way we try to persuade and inspire our people to follow our good works in this truth.
That's right.
Even those who call themselves Israelites, who are not keeping the commandments. We say follow IUIC, all right?
Yeah.
Because the Most High has us as vanguards of the revolution. The same way the Most High had the tribe of Levi in Haiti as the vanguards of the revolution in that period of time.
That's
Right.
right.
And check it, right? You just brought out some history on Thomas Jefferson, right? The president of these United States, right? You know, when you look into that history, it told you that Napoleon, you know, France had owned the whole Louisiana. You know, the whole of Louisiana, France, that had belonged to France. You know, so in France, dealing with Thomas Jefferson is not like, you know, this, because France had colonies and things set up here in America. You know, France had stronghold here in America. You know, and guess what he had in New Orleans, no, Louisiana. He had slaves there. You understand what I'm saying? France, they had slaves there. And not just that, Thomas Jefferson, the white man ain't stupid. The white man understand, as you were saying, Captain Isaac, is that, you know, if they allow Toussaint, you know, if they allow him to become a free black republic, you know, the slaves here in America, they're going to hear about it and they're going to be a lot of revolution, a lot of revolts. You understand? So that's why Thomas Jefferson, he told that little short dude Napoleon, you know what I mean? He told him, listen, we gonna help you, and we gonna also starve out Toussaint, because Toussaint had ships, was doing trade with America and other islands.
Yes.
Because he had sugar cane. Remember, he had sugar cane and all of that. So they stopped buying stuff from Toussaint. You know, they were start buying sugar cane. They tried to starve him out. What that mean? They wasn't trading with him no more. You understand? That's what he was doing, because they knew what would have happened if that black republic was formed. You know, a lot of slaves from the other neighboring islands. What do you think they did, or what do you think happened when Haiti gained their independence? They went over there. You know what I mean? They went over there. You think they stayed where they was at?
No,
You know, when Haiti was fighting, what do you think a lot of these slaves did? You know, that was neighboring islands. They went over there and they probably helped the Haitians. You know, they probably fought, because when one slave free, if one country free, guess what? Everybody could go there and just, you know what I mean, without gotta suffer oppression and slavery and so forth. You know, but Thomas Jefferson is the devil, man. And more fire upon Thomas Jefferson. Yo, is which dollar bill? Which money he faces on?
20? No, not $20 bill.
10, right?
$10?
The $10 bill. Yeah, man.
So.
Yo, more fire on that. I not use no $10 bill no more. You know, with the pizza, I use no $10 bill for the next couple of days, man.
That's a
For
Benjamin.
pizza Hanukkah. You understand? I ain't using no $10 bill. You know, yo, burn a fire on Jefferson, man. Thomas
Yeah,
Jefferson. You know, he tried to fight against. He tried to conspire with that little short dude Napoleon to try to go against Levi, but they don't understand the Most High was working with Levi.
That's right.
You understand? The Most High was working with him, man.
You know that I love that point that you just brought out. Many of you don't, because the deacon just said the Most High was working with Levi, which we just proved through scriptures. Even the word Haiti, when you look it up, right? The original name was IET, right? That word alone was a Hebrew word of Hebrew context, which means God is with us. Look it up. Many of you didn't know that. Later on, they say it's a mountainous island, but the original origin and or etymology of the word means God is with us, or God is near us. Okay? And later, Napoleon, that short midget devil, 3 foot, 2 foot devil, he compared Haiti to Hades, Hades,
Right.
which was, I believe, the Greek god of the underworld or hell.
Right.
He compared it as a mock because his army caught hell on that island. Now, what happened when Napoleon found out about Haiti trying to gain its independence and becoming a black free republican under Toussaint Louverture, who actually declared himself dictator, king for life. Okay, he heard that, he went nuts. He went nuts. He said, "Hell no!" So what he did, he sent his largest fleet of ships over there to the island of Hispaniola.
With his brother.
Yes, and when Toussaint Louverture seen this, he's like, he already knew what time it was. Unfortunately, he surrendered, and he was taken back to France and put in a prison. He had the idea that he was going to go and try to converse with the devil, the snake, and he got bit. They put him in a prison where they starved him, possibly beat him in the mountains of France, I believe the prison was, and then he died. His 2 sons were in France learning. They were in the universities, the educational systems that they had at that time. His 2 sons were there. So he wanted to take the diplomatic approach and go speak to Napoleon, and it backfired on him.
Didn't work out.
Okay, so when he left, who took over? This is the man that I like reading about, because we often hear about Toussaint Louverture. To me, he was too nice. You can't take a diplomat. Get me that scripture in Ecclesiastes 12:10, I believe it is. Never trust thine enemy. That's the problem with so-called Haitians today. Okay, and we know many of you are listening on to this line right now. Many of you blacks, you wanna take the serpent, the snake, and you wanna turn him into a domestic pet. You want to pet him, right? You want to hold him, and then you wonder, when he bites you, you wonder why you got bit.
Yep.
Or why did you do that?
A lot of Haitians, man, like, is a lot of them live in Canasi, right? A bunch of Haitians, you know, and what they do, a lot of them got assimilated now in America, that they got the same frame of mind like Judah and Benjamin, that they got the American dream, you know. They come up here and they get a little success, they got a good job, and you know they snort the all you call it, snort your nose up. They put their nose up at everybody, you know. I don't know if you be meeting a lot of Haitians like that.
They're full of pride.
They're
Very
full of prideful,
people.
and they front their nose at everybody, thinking that I'm in America, I made it.
Meanwhile, they got mud dust between their feet, their toes. All right. The Most High said that they would eat dung, and that's what they do. All right, in Haiti. All right, and it's not a shot at them, because I myself was a so-called Haitian. I'm an Israelite now.
That's right.
All right, by the tribe of Levi. In Haiti, there's a certain part called Cité Soleil, translated to Sun City or something like that, where they eat mud pies. And that's in the scripture. The Most High said he will spread dung upon your faces and make you the base of all the tribes. They're eating mud cakes. That's full of what? Stuff from the ground. Feces, dirt, oil, and whatever comes from the ground.
But not just that, they also use the dung. They really use doo-doo, man. Because I tell you, my grandmother, she went over there for 2 years. She came back, she used to take doo-doo and rub it all over her skin. You know what I mean?
Now you see what the deacon is saying. A lot of y'all like, nah, Deacon, don't talk like that. Deacon, don't talk like that.
Yo, that's what my grandmother used to do. My grandmother, she went to Haiti. She spent 2 years in Haiti. When she came back, my grandfather, he divorced her. He like, yo, she crazy. She started doing all type of voodoo stuff. She used to get the doodoo. She used to doodoo and she used to rub the doodoo all over her face, all over her skin, all over her body.
Deacon.
She used to cut off the chicken head and the blood, she used to beat the blood right around the house, of the chicken blood. You understand? And when you go back, even in the customs of Levi, they used to do that. They always do sacrifice where they use the blood and beat it around, sprinkle it on the people and all of that. You know, so my grandmother, she learned all of this in Haiti and came back to Trinidad and was doing that in Trinidad.
That's a beautiful thing what the deacon just brought out. And we're going to prove that according to scripture. So you Levites online, don't get mad. Just repent, keep the commandments, come out of that Roman Catholicism, come out of that mud cake, mud pie voodoo that you do. Stop rubbing feces and doo-doo on your face.
That's right.
Ain't going to do nothing for you. Keep the commandments and come back as Levi. Give me Leviticus 14, because the deacon just said how we used to do that in the old time. Remember, Moses was a Levite.
That's right.
Okay, he was a high priest. He was considered a high priest. Aaron was a high priest from the tribe of Levi. We always dealt with sacrifices, blood, and so forth.
Right, and sprinkling of the blood on the people and all of that.
Get me Leviticus 14 and 14. I think it is.
Leviticus chapter 14, verse 14. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering.
Some of the what?
The blood of the trespass offering.
Come on.
And the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed.
So the tip of the right ear, the blood went right here. On the tip of the right ear, come on.
And upon the thumb of his right hand.
The right hand, read.
And upon the great toe of his right foot.
And the great toe of his right foot. Now, if we see that in Haiti today with their voodoo, with their blood sacrifices and so forth. We see that going on this very day. Right. That's how we know we got the proper breakdown. Right. The Most High gave us the proper breakdown. Give me Exodus 24, 6 and 8. 6 to 8.
Yeah, man.
Okay? Now, while you getting that, let me just show the people online some pictures right here. What the deacon just brought out. When Deacon said his grandmother used to go to Haiti to practice voodoo. And she used to rub doo-doo on herself and mud. Now, look. Look at this right here. We ain't lying. Look at this.
Is that online?
Is this online?
Oh,
here, show this. Hold this in front of this so they can see that we're not lying. You have the so-called Haitians rolling around in mud and doo-doo. Okay? The name of this book is Aperture, Haiti, Feeding the Spirit. Okay? Aperture, Haiti, Feeding the Spirit. That's Aperture, Haiti, Feeding the Spirit. Open it up so they can see. So we know what we're talking about. All right, you just humble down, pay attention, and listen to the word of the Most High. Okay, that's the images right there. Okay, and the Most High is letting you know that who the tribe of Levi is. Same things they did back then, they're doing now, but on the left hand side. Okay, when we was doing those sacrifices, it was on the right hand side. All right, get me that Exodus 24, 6 to 8. Still hold it up. So
Exodus chapter 24, verse 6. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord had said, we do.
So we made a covenant with the Most High to keep his laws, which we broke. That's why we ended up in captivity today. And what did Moses do with the blood?
And be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words.
So Moses sprinkled the blood on the people. And our brothers and sisters on the island of Hispaniola in Haiti, tribe of Levi, we always dealt with blood sacrifice. Even just to jump ahead of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who was my favorite revolutionary. Why? Because he didn't spare man, woman, children, mulatto. He killed everybody. Everybody got put to death. When he seen Toussaint Louverture get taken back to France and then come back, he got wind that Napoleon wanted to reinstitute slavery. Who did Napoleon leave behind? Some new dude by the name of Leclerc. He put Leclerc to death. He put Leclerc to death. He put all of them Edomites to death. Heads was being chopped off, being put on stakes. White people was being hung up. Babies' craniums was being cracked open. This man was putting everybody to death.
Listen, this goes back to the cruelty of Levi. You understand what we read about? This goes into his cruelty. He said, fierce is his wrath and his cruelty. You understand? That's what it's going into. But as you said, more time when you hear about the revolutionary, you hear about Toussaint. That's all who I know about. And then I read about his successor, but then went into history about him. Like then give me too much about him when I trying to research it. You know what I mean? So this is good how you bringing this part out, because this part I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.